Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Retail Apocalypse here on Urbex. Yep, that's right, another store is closing. This time we're taking a look at Big Lots. Now Big Lots began all the way back in 1967 as the Consolidated Stores Corporation out of Columbus, Ohio. It wouldn't be until 1982 when they would open their first closeout store called Odd Lots. Now, because there was another company with a similar name to Odd Lots, they would agree that all the stores within a certain radius of Columbus could keep the Odd Lots name, and all the others that would open would have to have a different one. So outside the radius of Columbus, they would begin opening stores under the name Big and Small Lots. Eventually, all the Odd Lots would be rebranded to the Big Lots you're familiar with today. The company would see success all the way up until the 2000s. And of course, like most malls and other retail in the United States, this is about the time that they began to kind of fail. In 2011, Big Lots would announce that they had purchased the Liquidation World Incorporated, which was a Canadian closeout retailer that had 89 locations. This would be Big Lots' first venture outside of the United States. And in April of 2013, Big Lots would see their very first Canadian location opening. And we all know how well this one's gonna go. Retailer enters Canada, flounders around for a year or so, and then ceases all operations and exits Canada. Because do you remember Target Canada? Yeah, that was a massive fail, as well as Big Lots here in Canada. Because under the Big Lots name, they would only last until 2014, not even a full year. Maybe US retailers should just stay out of Canada, because they all seem to fail. Okay, here at the Big Lots, what in the world? I'm looking through music CDs, and we have the very best of T.D. Jakes. Is he a singer now? I think he is singing. I almost kind of want to get this just because, what the crap? So when did we start doing Halloween in July? Because I went to a Big Lots in July because I'd heard rumors that they were going to close a bunch of locations, and probably some throughout Ohio, so I wanted to film one because, who knows, I'm sure one day Big Lots will be gone. And I was just like, Halloween? And don't get me wrong, I love Halloween, but jeez, that's a little extreme. Now this was really cool, and I was really tempted to buy it, but then again, it's something I don't need. It says try me too. It's a skeleton on a toilet. It says try me. Where's the button for it? Oh, it's right there. What? What the hell are we doing here, America? It farts the Addams Family song. So yeah, I love Halloween probably more than most people, but skeletons farting on a toilet, that's just too much. So let's head on over to our next location. Now here we are at the closing Big Lots here in Westchester, Ohio, a very upscale suburb of Cincinnati. Well, I think it is because it's more affluent. People that live here have more money than the average person in Ohio. And this store was actually renovated a year or so ago because I remember it being renovated, and I was just like, oh, cool, we're going to get a new Big Lots, or at least, a renovated one. And now they're closing it. In fact, I know a number of Big Lots that either recently opened or just renovated, and now they're closing them. What a waste. You would think that companies could see the writing on the wall and be like, yeah, I don't think we're going to do any renovations or open new stores because we're doing poorly. So now I want to talk about why Big Lots is failing, and give you some of my opinions as well as some facts that'll kind of support why I feel the way I feel. Now, Big Lots is a discount retailer. It kind of sits in between the dollar store and like a Walmart. But I'd have to say it leans more towards a Walmart than it does the dollar store. Now, every time I walk into a Big Lots, for some odd reason I get Kmart vibes. I can't really figure out why. I mean, I know some of them are in former Kmarts, but even the ones that aren't in a former Kmart, I just get the vibes. And maybe it's because in later years, Kmart's really didn't sell anything that was useful to me. I just kind of went in there for nostalgic purposes. And, going into a Big Lots, it's all just kind of random nonsense stuff. It's nothing that I really need, except maybe the food, but then that's just kind of random too. You can't really do your full grocery shopping there. I don't know. You know, and to me, Big Lots just kind of feels like a worse version of Ollie's. You know, Ollie's Bargain Outlet. Good stuff cheap. And you know, occasionally I'll stop into Ollie's just to kind of see what they have, and every now and then I might find something kind of interesting, usually in the toy department, but I rarely ever buy anything from that store as well. So in my opinion, the fundamental flaw of Big Lots is the fact that they're not really cheap like a dollar store, but they really don't have quality items like you might find at Target or Walmart, and the items they do have are just kind of random. So I tend to prioritize quality over price. Now don't get me wrong, I love a good bargain, but I'm not willing to go after that bargain if it means I'm just getting a piece of crap that's going to break. So if you have Big Lots in your area, when was the last time you actually thought, hey, there's something I need, and I'm going to head out to my local Big Lots to see if they might have it? Leave a comment down below in the comment section, because I don't think I've ever had that thought. I usually just go into Big Lots just to kind of waste some time because I'm bored and just see all the random nonsense they have. But there's a bigger picture as to why Big Lots and retail as a whole is failing here in the United States, and probably all around the world, because I'm sure whatever country you're in, your retail probably isn't doing very well either. So if you live outside the United States, leave a comment down below and let me know how your retail is doing in your country. Is it thriving, or are stores closing left and right like here in the United States? Hi guys, welcome back. I'm here in Coleraine Township, and you're probably wondering, why am I at a Big Lots? Well, news broke early today, or was it yesterday? Anyways, recently that 40 Big Lots across the country are going to be closing. I haven't been able to find a specific list that lists all of them. Just certain local news channels have been reporting that a few are going to close in their areas. So we're going to check out Big Lots here in this former Kroger, because that is definitely an old school Kroger building. Crazy old lady's gonna join us for this awesome episode.
Let's do it.
So yeah, this is the Big Lots here in Coleraine Township across from the Northgate Mall. And you can see this is where the old Kroger used to be. I believe the Kroger moved across the street over there. That's where the mall is. You can see way back there. But this is strange kind of seeing this Big Lots in a former Kroger. So when I heard that a bunch of Big Lots were going to close around the country, I rushed over to this one so that I could document it and preserve a Big Lots as it was before its closing sale. So now back to why Big Lots and so many other retailers around the country are closing at an alarming rate. It might shock you, especially if you don't keep up with current events, and especially if you're not watching an independent news source. Now, I follow an independent news channel over on YouTube called Redacted. They're awesome, and I highly recommend that you check out their channel. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description box below. And yes, they used to be former journalists in the mainstream media. I've learned a lot from them about what's really going on in our country, and yes, now that my eyes have been opened, I've been looking out for it, and I've seen it myself. So if you want all the hard facts to back up what I'm saying, just go watch their channel for a while. Alright, you guys, is this what Brookstone has been reduced down to? They used to be a gadget retailer that made all kinds of cool electronics, and they had their own stores. Do you remember the Brookstone stores? Yeah, and now they're just making gadget trays? I don't even, it's just, I don't know, you guys.
They had stuff like that there.
I've lost all hope for humanity. Now, I could go all the way back to the 60s when things started going downhill slightly in our country, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to start in more modern times with September 11th. That's when things really started going downhill, and the ability to live within our country started sliding. So come 2008, when we had that recession, that's when consumers and the American population began to feel the squeeze in their wallet. Yes, it was a bumpy few years, but we made it through it, and we only had a few casualties. We lost some malls, and mainly it was just large retailers downsizing. Where things really went out of control was around 2020, when we had the coronavirus pandemic. Oh, the lovely fake pandemic. And yes, I said the pandemic was fake. I knew it was fake from day one. I just used common sense. And you can fact check this because government agencies, as well as some people within the medical industry, have come out and said, yeah, the coronavirus pandemic was kind of man-made and a money scheme.
Well, a new study shows something we already knew, that COVID deaths were overreported during the pandemic, and the COVID vaccine did not seem to have much of a benefit of slowing or stopping the pandemic as we know it. Why the pandemic stopped? Because governments decided that it could stop. That's what we know for sure now. Here is the study. I want to encourage you to seek it out for yourself. It's not a very catchy title there, but again, what we're looking at is correlation right now. So it's important to point that out. But most of the data that we have when the media throws around things like, oh, the COVID vaccine worked or saved lives, most of that is pretty correlated too, and also very shaky. Now, what they did in this study is they researched 125 countries and their vaccination rollout programs. And what they found was, quote, no systematic or statistically significant trends showing that vaccination campaigns in 2020 and 2021 reduced all-cause mortality. In fact, they were able to show that excess deaths went up and that those deaths that we saw could not be associated with COVID deaths. They calculated something new called death per injection, and they found this here highlighted on the screen. I'm going to let you read it because I'm still under the rules of YouTube, which say that I must not contradict anything that the World Health Organization says. Is what I want to say about that.
And when we went into lockdown, that really hurt retail because then there weren't people shopping in the stores. And even when we lifted the lockdown and had all the masking mandates, I know there were a lot of people that were like, just forget it. I'm not going to put on a mask and walk around the store, and it's hard to breathe. And, you know, especially if you have some kind of medical condition that might make it harder for you to breathe. So, you know, sales were still hurting. And I know we lost a tremendous amount of retail during the coronavirus pandemic. So here we are in 2024, and I'm predicting an all-out retail collapse. No, not just an all-out retail collapse, but an all-out United States collapse. Because if you haven't been paying attention, our former president now, Joe Biden, hasn't really been our president because he hasn't really been running the country because he's not mentally capable of running the country. So who has been running our country? Kamala Harris? She's a laughingstock. Inflation is out of control, and I'll try and put some of the stats on screen so you can see them because I don't remember them off the top of my head, but no matter what the government tells you or the mainstream media tells you, you know, inflation is out of control because are you feeling it? Is your dollar going further nowadays? Can you afford things like a car? Because I sure can't. And while our economy is collapsing, we are funding wars overseas. No, we're getting involved in wars. We are creating wars, and I think we're probably about to enter World War III at this point. The other problem is we have thousands upon thousands of illegals, terrorists, crossing over our borders and being paid monthly, put up in fancy hotels, murdering our citizens, causing civil unrest within our country. Just everything that's going on is leading to the retail collapse because the American population, the American consumer is to the brink. They just cannot hold on any longer. We can't continue spending in credit because we're broke. We don't have any more money left. Inflation has taken it all, and our last-ditch effort is to start spending in credit, which is never a good thing. And so this is why I'm seeing places like Big Lots closing at an alarming rate. This is why it won't surprise me when we break out in civil war like Britain is having at the moment.
Tonight, violence and vitriol on the streets of the United Kingdom, targeting migrants and mosques in an ugly eruption of anti-immigrant sentiment. For more than a week, riots breaking out in city after city, cars torched in northeast England, fires raging in Belfast in Northern Ireland. This hotel, used to house asylum seekers, set ablaze.
Or have a complete total economic collapse like we did in 1929. And in today's modern society where we have more companies, more to lose, more technology, more infrastructure, it's going to be absolutely disastrous because we rely on a lot more today than we did back in the 1920s, so there's a lot more to lose. Now, on a more positive note, it's not all doom and gloom because here in Ohio, I've noticed quite a few things that are either coming to Ohio or have opened recently. Most notably is Quick Trip, a gas station that finally opened its first location in Ohio, and we're getting a Wawa gas station in the Cincinnati area coming soon, as well as Ohio's very first Buc-ee's coming to Huber Heights. So in the end, is it really going to matter that Ohio's getting some new retail? Because our citizens are literally trying to do whatever it takes to survive and to provide for themselves. Is it really going to matter when illegal immigrants are pouring across our borders and pointing guns at our citizens, and our citizens are having to defend themselves violently? Let me know what your thoughts are on all of this, because everything that's going on in our country ties back into why retail is doing so poorly. And as always, thank you for listening to my rant, because I just had to finally make something that really explained what's going on here in our country and the retail landscape, because they're very intertwined. Because in the end, when society breaks down, so does retail. Oh my gosh. Do you guys remember this stuff this is like back from the 90s when I was a child. Here in America, we call it Erector Set, but it's actually called Meccano, and this is the off-brand of Meccano, Mechanics. And of course, because it's summertime, we have all kinds of, what the, bounce and bump battle suits. That is the craziest looking thing ever. Oh man, the sidewalk chalk. I haven't done that in so long. It's just kind of therapeutic, you know. You get out your sidewalk chalk and all the different colors. No, you got to get the, stay. Damn it, stay. You got to get the big giant bucket of all the rainbow colors, and you just sit on the sidewalk and just scribble away until the mean old lady comes down the sidewalk with her mean old dog and barks at you. This is all like school supplies, party supplies. And then, of course, we're kind of in the outdoor seasonal section, as you can see by up there. Oh, this is like all of your... What are these? These look kind of cool. Ooh, that's fancy. I can't really get the switch doesn't. There we go. That's pretty cool. Oh man, I detect the Halloween vibes are coming. About time to start doing some Halloween videos. Pretty soon, only about 1 month. And then the Halloween will be in full effect. Oh yes. You guys, it's begun already. I know I'm very much against the doing holidays 3 and 4 months ahead of when the actual holiday is, you know what I mean? Like starting Christmas in July type thing. But you know, Halloween's one of my favorite holidays, so I don't know, I just can't resist all the spooky goodness. Oh my gosh, this stuff looks so awesome. What in the world? Does it move? Does it do? Yes, I believe it does something.
Hey, do you want to be my friend? Come play with me. Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you.
Okay, that's terrifying, and the eyes actually light up. Holy crap. Wait, does this do something? Maybe. It's got a thing. I'm pretty sure, yes, it does. Oh no. Halloween's so great. We're gonna do Halloween in August. I wanna...
That'd be cool if it was dark in here.
Yeah.
And I can't.
There's a wolf.
That's cool.
Okay, that's cool.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh, they got some really good animated stuff. Like, look at, I know this is going to do something.
Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of roses. Ashes, ashes, you will fall down.
Okay, that's kind of creepy. Wait, that one's going to fly off the shelf. I know it's going to.
This?
I think it, yes, because it goes. It drives or what moves.
It's gonna fly off the shelf, right, Chris? Because it's got that in it.
Stop it. You're going to make me pee
There
my
it goes.
pants.
Now wait.
You got to put it away.
Oh,
Stop it. I want to thank you for joining me here on this episode of Urbex. If you'd like to know how you can support the future of video and gain access to awesome member-exclusive content and other perks, you can check out the links on screen to my YouTube membership as well as my Patreon. There'll also be links in the description box below. I want to thank all of my members for all of your support. Without you, these videos wouldn't be possible, and I will see you all on another episode of Urbex.